Hi traders, welcome to the full market analysis for the 23rd of March. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And before I go into gold on steroids, and we've got a buy going on, I'll explain why we've got a buy going on. But before I do that, I want to talk about the reversal charts. I'm actually giving these away free with gold on steroid software and quant flow dynamics. So it's free now. You can buy it separately for £197 if you want, it's not a problem, but just throwing it in just as a little bit of a bonus for you. So here we go, this is the reversal charts. Now, very, very simple. What we're looking for, a couple of things you might notice here. First thing you notice is these buy power numbers measured above 60 is the number that you're looking for. Above 60 is the number that you're looking for. Okay, and that gives you the reversal, the first rule on the reversal charts. The second rule on the reversal charts when you're buying is you need to see this green line here, which is positive divergence automatically given on your charts. If you've seen a green line here, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong with this. It's going down, but there's divergence in the market, so the price is going to eventually go up. So that's when you come into the market. Conversely, of course, when you have a sell, and I've suggested this in the VIP room, there's likely to be a sell-off at 45.20, and what we haven't got is any convergence. So we see this supply zone here, this yellow zone. This is supply where the sellers are lining up. And we can see that as this pushes up, it will push this order block up as well and probably make it stronger. So as it comes into this is like a liquidity zone, liquidity sweep. So this area is a very, very interesting. All right, so look out for that. Look out for the reversal charts. Now let's go into the gold on steroids, and we can actually talk about why we've actually come into this market and why we've gone long in this instance. The first thing that you see here are very strong. There's 52% of institutions up here who haven't filled their orders yet to go short. So this is a very interesting area, and we may actually put our target in at 44.91, which gives us about 400 pips anyway. So we could pull that down to here. Gives us a nice number to go on anyway. So if I've just sent that signal to you in the signals room, you might want to change that accordingly to suit you. But if you can go for the big one up here as well. So 45.20 is very interesting. We want to be trading with the institutions on the back of them. Very few people know how this works. Nobody has the settings that we have. that's the thing. Doesn't mean we're always right. I'm often wrong, but I'm not worried about that because the targets are far, far bigger than these stops. So hopefully that's helpful. The other thing to bear in mind is the price cycle. If I come back to this chart here, I'm interested in the price cycle. So we can see at this point here, there's a buying opportunity here, although it hadn't changed character yet. But once it changes character, pulls back, goes up, and then we can see that the price is pulling back up again. So if you're interested in the reversal charts or the gold on steroids software, then I'm happy to help you along the way. Congratulations on the pound Canadian. It's another reason to do the videos to see what's next in terms of charts and what's next in terms of positions, but also to learn how to trade. There's a couple of points here on this is the quant flow dynamics. The quant flow dynamics measures trend, it measures pullbacks, and it measures the strength of the pullbacks using institutional bias. What you can see here, special settings, nobody has these. The couple of things here, you can see this trend line, which is acting as support, this blue line. So as long as that is held, then we can say that the market structure is bullish. Another thing you can see here, see this order block here? The important number here is 65% of orders had not been filled. They've been filled now because they've come back in, they've left a lot of orders behind, and it's still valid. It's a valid entry. So 65% of institutions have not been filled at this stage, but as it comes down, hits this area 182.47, as I mentioned yesterday in the weekly forex forecast, the price is likely, it's all probabilities, isn't it, is probable that the price is going to bounce and head up to the previous swing high, which is the 0 line. Now let me talk about Fibonacci. This is a Fibonacci sequence as well. So all I've done here is move the Fibonacci from the previous swing low on the left and moved it to the 0 line at the top here. What this gives us is a 50% Fibonacci retracement, and this green line gives us a 618 Fibonacci retracement. If I zoom in a bit closer, you can see it. So the entry was absolutely perfect here. And we're not looking to be perfect. That's not what we're about. It's not about being perfect, but it's about getting probabilities. The Swiss yen, it's also a good idea to see how we go short in a short position. The other thing to remember is that we want to be buying above the 50 moving average. The black lines are the 50. So as soon as the price moves above the 50, then that's our change of character. You can use many tools in the advanced play charts, but the 50 moving average is something I've used for many, many years. Back to the Swiss yen. The yen's a bit slow today, but that's all right. We've got plenty of time. There's no rush. So we can see here the price has come up into a supply zone in yellow. So this is where the sellers are lining up. We can see that clearly. We can see the change of character as it moves down below the 50. So as long as it stays below the 50, we can say that market structure is moving down. And then as it moves back up into the supply zone, then that's your entry in there. And of course go for 2 for 1. Or you can go for the previous swing low. This previous swing low. My video's frozen a little bit there. But you can go for the previous swing low, which is down here in the demand zone. Now the other thing that you may see here is the order blocks measuring the number of buyers and sellers we're in. If we can see this here, we've got 73% selling this. Okay, so this support line, this is our target, but actually this indicates that the price is going much lower. But I'm happy with that. I'm not really bothered about making too much money, but nonetheless, this is a good target to go by. So let's look around and let's see what's going on in the markets. Quick flick down to gold. That's fine. The price cycle is still valid. So what I mean by that, look at this price cycle here. This price cycle, we bought low, which is always a good idea. Buying low in an uptrend is a good idea. And the price cycle is still valid and continuing up. If the price cycle gets to here, then there's likely to be a pullback. You can see this over and over again. So let's see what's going on with the dollar. DXY going weaker today, but not really doing much. So the euro dollar has changed character. For all intents and purposes, we are looking for buys now. However, we do need to see further information before we actually buy into this idea, because the price is moving into a supply zone. So we need to see something else going on. This is not a valid it's not a valid entry for any of these pairs at the moment. We have to bide our time in terms of the dollar. Remember, we're not looking for quantity in trades, we're looking for very high quality trades, like the Swiss yen, like the pound Canadian. They are worth waiting for because that's where all the money is. I did post this in the VIP room a few days ago, and have a look down here. This is not a valid this is not a valid order block because the sellers are in here, yeah? See that? So this is very weak demand area. This is a very strong demand. See how the orders have not been filled? 62% of orders from institutions have not been filled. And so we're likely to see the price move down to here. So there is probably a selling opportunity here. However, I am looking to buy into this idea at 156.43 in the coming days. So we can quickly see from the QuantFlow Dynamics software that what we're looking for in terms of buys and sells instantly. And we can actually see where the price is and what's likely to happen in the future. The other thing it does, it tells us when not to trade, which is equally important. So the yen futures are looking mixed. I mentioned this yesterday as well, but need I say any more? So we're looking that the price has changed character, potentially above the 50s. We've got a double bottom here, and the price is starting to move higher, with 65% of institutions, not retail traders, are filling their orders right now. What this means in terms of the yens, we are looking to sell the yens in line with the institutions as they move their orders into play. So when you see a price like this on the euro yen, you've got 52.48. There's not enough conviction in this price to go either way. In other words, it's sideways and you completely ignore it. Now the Canadian, now I mentioned this in the VIP room, I did expect the price to come up a little bit more. We could have gone short at this point. But nonetheless, if the order doesn't get filled, then that's fine. But I am very interested in this because the institution has still not been filled in this order block. 71% have still not been filled yet. So I suspect they're waiting for it to be filled as well, as we are. Flicking down into these Swiss pairs now. 50-50 is not enough. Now the Euro Swiss is very interesting to me. A couple of points here to be made. First of all, we have a sell power of 70 on the Euro Swiss, which is very strong on the 4-hour chart, and we can see the areas of major resistance, and we have 58% of orders from institutions that have not been filled yet in this supply zone. So I do have an order at 91.50, and I do expect the price to get there, and then obviously reverse, because this is a reversal chart here. Pound Swiss, we can see here moving into an order block now. I did expect the price to come down into this area here from the weekend, but it didn't quite come down deep enough. 50 moving averages were acting as support. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. It's just the way it is. The long-term trend of gold is still down, of course. It's going to take some time for this to go into a buy mode on the 4-hour chart, so there's no point looking at it. Just go down into the lower time frames and choose your trades. On the 4-minute chart is good. The 10-minute chart is excellent. Oil, I did mention this at the weekend, that this is fighting now with this supply zone. So there's sellers lining up here, which is great from our costs in terms of petrol and so on. But I think it's temporary. I think 118 is inevitable, although going down now, the sellers are all in. Selling opportunity on the Aussie 200 index is coming, as I mentioned earlier in the week, up into the supply zone. German DAX waiting for this price to come up into the resistance line. This is massive. 75% of institutions have not filled their orders here, so we'll be getting into that once it gets there. I'll let you know. Actually, I'll put an alert on there, so as it crosses there, I'll actually get an email. This is close, isn't it? Dow Jones moving into, looks like the orders have been filled or just about to be filled at 46,738. So if you're not selling at that point, then please do at your own risk. The Euro Canadian I mentioned the weekend as well. I've done a blog on this, and the price again didn't come down deep enough into this golden zone, but nonetheless is moving up. But we got the Canadian, the pound Canadian, so it doesn't matter. Just looking at other charts, looking fairly mixed across the board, except the ones that we're in, of course. They're looking fantastic. Bitcoin's all over the place, so just be careful with Bitcoin. Number of buyers in, yeah, you've got 59% of buyers in to Bitcoin. If you fancy buying into that right now, buy above 71,821. Have a great day. Let's have a quick look at gold. Looking okay. As the price moves into here, or the price cycle, and it hasn't reached your target, this swing high here, then close it and bank your money.